This is BBI Channel 1, where we tell you the raw gospel, unadulterated truth. And we see it, we say it the way it is. I have said it before here that P2B trying to pull an alliance with Kwankwaso will only amount to carrying a liability. Because the man Kwankwaso have proven beyond every reasonable doubt that he is not quite different from the old order of corrupt political class that will always whip up ethnicity instead of integrity, respect to governance. Now, many of you have listened to his comments on that China's television, but in case you've not, let us review it once more.
Have you agreed with Mr. Peter Obi on aligning or joining forces?
Thank you very much, Sean. Well, for now, we are discussing with so many people, individuals, groups, and even parties.
Yeah. Have you met? Because there was a time that I was supposed to meet with you before you joined the Labour Party. Have you since met with him physically since then?
Well, not yet, but our committee had the opportunity to sit down and do some discussion together. And I believe that it is highly likely that we are going to meet and discuss the issue of coming together to work as a family.
The question is, are you optimistic about the alliance with Mr. Peter Obi? Do you think it will happen?
Yeah, well, I believe that it will happen, but I believe also that there are some challenges that we are having, especially from the side of the Labour Party itself. Now, you see, the major issue as it stands today is the issue of who becomes the president, who becomes the vice president. And I believe this is the time really to advise, especially those who are positively behind the candidate of the Labour Party, that this, for me, I have seen an opportunity for the Southeast to be relevant in the next dispensation. In NNP, in PDP, they are completely out. So also in the APC. The only opportunity now is the NNPP. Now, we are aware that in the social media, a lot of work is going on. The young men and women, especially of the Southeast extraction, are working towards getting a presidency. But the fact remains on the ground that even the entire zone, any zone in this country, decides to vote for a particular person, that person, going by our constitution, the provision in the constitution, cannot be president. And I think the constitution was deliberate to ensure that everybody is involved in the country. And I believe that it is in the interest of the Labour Party and the NNPP, and even in the interest of this country, because we have seen a situation today where many people in the Southeast believe that they are being marginalized. And it will even be worse, actually, if they are not involved in the 2023 project, because LP, as it stands today, certainly it cannot win election.
Really?
Oh yes, it cannot win election.
It cannot win a presidential election?
Not
Why
in
do you think they cannot?
Well, because mainly the support is mainly in particular zone. There is just no spread. And the figures there cannot earn anybody presidential seat in this country. You see, the way we operate politically in this country is not very clear to many people. Fortunately, the northern voters have always got their own opinion. And it is hardly influenced by any elite or anybody we can think of. For example, if you look at the issue of the case of Muhammadu Buhari, over the years, the northern voters decided that it was him. And even when the elites, most of the elites didn't like him, they still don't like him, but they made up their minds over the years that any time we had an election, he will have certain votes from the northern voters. And these northern voters, again, have made up their minds on what to do.
Right now?
Vote. Oh, yes. There is nothing, nobody, no
now,
elite.
Have they made up their mind? Who are they hoping to vote for?
The northern,
Yeah,
certainly NNPP.
You had him. You see him try to portray P2B as an ethnic candidate, as Igbo presidential candidate, just to thwart this movement, just to sow the same seed they've all been trying to sow into Nigerians. Whenever it comes to politics, these politicians will throw up and whip up this ethnicity to divide the people. The PDP have been trying to do that. The APC have been trying to do that. In their frustration and desperation to disrupt this movement that have engulfed the entire Nigerians, the suffering Nigerians across board, from the east, west, north, and south. They are losing sleep, seeing Nigerians break the boundaries and the walls of ethnicity in trying to rescue themselves from the hands of the same corrupt, recycled old politicians from PDP and APC. And that's why Nigerian youths have come out to say no to PDP and no to APC.
No APC, no PDP, 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 no APC.
That's exactly the same line Kwankwaso is towing. And that's why I said P2B should look elsewhere. Because this prolonged talk, negotiation, trying to pull an alliance have only amounted to giving Kwankwaso a kind of publicity and relevance. Undue publicity and relevance. So, my people, it is high time we understand their game. If you listen to some of these politicians who have come out to, undermine or to try to play down P2B in any way, they have not bothered to sell their candidates, what they got to offer to Nigerians, because they've got nothing to offer. All these years, PDP and APC are proven to be a monumental failure, and two sides of the same coin. Recycled politicians jostling for just their personal interest. They will always whip up ethnicity, and that is why Nigerians have woken up and risen above that ethnic and religious bigotry.
94% of Nigerians lost confidence the way the present administrations that are ruling this country. So if that will show that, will show you that this time around it's not about tribalism, it's not about sentiment, it's not about religious affiliations, it's about competency. So we are looking at a candidate that can bring a desired change, that will change the situations of the economy. What happens? Why do we have excess amounts of kidnapping, banditry in the north? Because the economy of the country is bad.
Before, we used to be between the devil and the deep blue sea, between APC and PDP. You don't have other option than to either vote for PDP or APC, or you climb a fence and sit on it. God has provided us a platform, options, with a driver that has proven integrity.
We have been suffering a lot. There are a lot of propaganda. This party will come and tell us this. In the end of the day, there is nothing to present. There is nothing tangible. Consider what is going on now. ASU has been on strike for over 5 years now, or 5 months now. Nothing has been said tangible. The federal government is not even willing to sit and liaise with them.
The look of things that we have seen so far, previous administrations, the youth were not so enthusiastic about getting their PVCs because we already know the way things will turn out. You vote, your vote doesn't count. But as it stands now, the youth have woken up. And the future that we have been promised right from primary school has come, and so we are ready to take it. I see from the turnout of those that are going for their PVCs, you see the numbers of youths, they are mostly youth. So we are tired of all these old people.
Nigerians today have broken the walls of ethnicity to rescue themselves from the hands of this never-do-well, recycled, corrupt political class that have made their lives miserable. And I will continue standing in the gap as the voice of the people. The Archbishop, Good Governance Minister, that have been a voice, a lone voice in the wilderness, preaching this gospel to Nigerian people to ignite this political revolution. Now the time is here. But these men, they are not going into sleep. They are losing sleep. They are desperate to stop and thwart this movement. But I tell you, Nigerians have known better. From the north, you see the coalition of northern youths coming in to give their support. That is it. But I'm so worried about the southern youth. Some of them are still clinging on the old mentality that your vote doesn't count. There is no need for election. That everything should just be torn apart. I am not an advocate of anarchy. I believe in political process as the only way the people will be able to rescue themselves. Because if there is anarchy, it is still the ordinary people that will be victims. And that is what the politicians want. You don't play into their game. I'm trying to open up your eyes to see beyond your nose the game plan of the Nigerian politicians. They have tried violence. They will try to buy the most wretched Nigerian people, the most victimized Nigerian people. They are going to give a tip to cause either violence to truncate this movement. Do not give them a chance and a breathing space. They are counting on the touts. That is all they are counting on. They are also counting on the money they are going to use to buy your vote. Now I tell you, those of you who are saying your vote doesn't count, if your vote doesn't count, why would they pay for it? Nigerian politicians won't spend billions to buy your vote if it doesn't count. And that has been the message. So you get up. Stand up. Because even the kingdom of God suffered violence. And the violence you're preaching here is to stand your ground, cast your vote, and make sure your vote counts. Do it like your life depends on it. And this is the message I'm bringing to you. So take this message, share it, and to all obedient Nigerians, I encourage you not to give up. As we continue to encourage P2B to choose someone, there are men and women, young, vibrant some of them, that can be your VP. Even from the north, you have very wonderful set of young people, revolutionary young people from the north that can run with you as a running mate. Forget about Kwankwaso. Forget about the old order. They can only be a liability to this movement. And if I have spoken your mind, Nigerian people, please share this video. Share this video. You may be getting this video from a news channel. That is because our main channel has been suspended because some people are trying to bring it down. Those who doesn't want this truth to be heard. Take this one as an alternative platform until we revive our suspended channel. Thank you for watching and stay connected with this voice. I'm Absolute Janet Peters, the Archbishop, Good Governance Ministry. I'm signing out.